why. Hello, everyone. A very good morning to all our viewers. First of all, thank you very much for joining with us on this beautiful Saturday morning. It might have been a busy week for most of you, but here we are at the end of the week on the weekend, and we just want 1.5 hours of your time so that we, together with Slim, can explain to you as to how best we can capitalize on the opportunities that we can offer you to make sure that you have a wonderful career when it comes to marketing. So just to give you a bit of background about this session, this live discussion on a timely topic, unlike our previous sessions with Slim, this won't be quite the same. We have opted to take a different approach and a different tone. Today we have two speakers talking about the importance of marketing and a partnership that Slim values very much, and they will talk to you about how best that you and what the opportunities are for you to capitalize on your marketing career and how best you can make sure that you are heading towards something important and something that is vital for your life and for your career. Now, today's live discussion, unlike the previous sessions, previous webinars that we've had, we will have two speakers explaining our timely topic for today, at the end of which we will be having a question and answers session as usual. So if you do have any questions, make sure to post them up right here on our Microsoft Teams platform, and we will make sure that the two speakers do get in touch with you and answer these questions as we move on. Just one thing to note down is that when you ask these questions, please make sure you mention who exactly you're asking these questions from, so that it's very clear for us to have one of the two speakers or even both the speakers answer your questions in a concise and clear manner. So that being said, I'd like to give you a very warm welcome to this live session conducted by Slim on learning how to give your digital marketing qualification a global recognition. So today we have two speakers joining in with us to actually give you an insight as to what is best for you and to explain this valuable partnership that Slim has embarked upon. But before that, let me just give you a quick insight as to what Slim is all about. Now, it needs no special introduction. The Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing is the center stage for young budding marketers in Sri Lanka, and it visions of leading this nation towards economic prosperity over the next few years at least, and making sure that there's a very comprehensive platform to all our marketers who are opting to follow a career in marketing in the years to come in Sri Lanka. And along with that, today we're going to explain to you what Slim has to offer on a global level and how best you can make sure that the qualifications that Slim has to offer you grabs that attention in the international arena with the partnerships that they have embarked upon. Now, today we'll be talking about our special partnership with the Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland, also known as DMI. Now, the DMI is the leading global body in digital marketing education, and it has partnered and continuously works with giants in the field like Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and IBM. And also it has a student populace of over 27,000 students across 100 countries, and it makes sure that all its student populace, the entire populace, maintains a very valuable educational experience. And today, to all our viewers, we'll be talking about what it has to offer you and how best you can make sure that your qualifications are met with. And today we'll be going through two important qualifications that SLIM has to offer you through the DMI, that is the Certified Digital Marketing Associate, CDMA, and also the Certified Digital Marketing Professional, the CDMP. So these two certificates are the qualifications that they have to offer. We'll be going through this in a moment's time, but just to give you a visual background of what we have to offer, here's a special video from DMI and SLIM.
Are you looking forward to becoming a globally recognized digital marketer? Then you should start your journey with SLIM, and here's why. SLIM has partnered with the Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland, the global giant in digital marketing education. Get a certification that is globally recognized. Join a global network with over 27,000 students and a community with 100,000 plus members in 100 plus countries. DMI continuously works with industry giants such as Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and IBM. DMI has accredited the Certificate in Digital Marketing and Diploma in Digital Marketing by recognizing its curriculum in two professional qualifications, the Certified Digital Marketing Associate and the Certified Digital Marketing Professional. You can obtain the DMI qualification. If you have completed the Certificate in Digital Marketing, you will be awarded DMI Essentials to become a Certified Digital Marketing Associate. If you have completed the Diploma in Digital Marketing, you can apply for the DMI Pro program and complete the exam to become a Certified Digital Marketing Professional. The benefits of following DMI programs at SLIM are dual qualification, blended learning, both physical and online classes, obtain CDMA qualification from DMI without an examination, international recognition, access to DMI learning content, and updates on the worldwide development on digital. Also, while following the DMI program, you are eligible for the DMI Power membership, which comes with a host of benefits such as world-class digital marketing content and resources, high-quality templates and toolkits, expert insights, industry news and analysis, and continuous professional development, which extends the lifespan of your certification. The pathway for you to obtain the DMI program is complete the CDM program at SLIM and apply for DMI Essentials, complete the DDM program at SLIM, and apply for DMI Pro. Enroll now and obtain global recognition for your digital marketing qualification at SLIM. For more information, visit www.slim.lk. Are you looking?
Well, there you have it, a comprehensive overview of what SLIM has to offer with their partnership with DMI, the Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland. Just to once again go through, so SLIM together with their partnership with DMI will offer you two qualifications. The one is DMI Essentials and number two is DMI Pro. Now, when it comes to DMI Essentials, we're essentially talking about the Certified Digital Marketing Associate qualification. And for this, just like the video showed you, if you have completed the Certificate in Digital Marketing offered to you by SLIM, you will be awarded DMI Essentials, Certified Digital Marketing Associate, CDMA, by making a payment of €200. And when it comes to your next step, that is the diploma, if you have completed the diploma in digital marketing, you can apply for the DMI Pro examination by making a payment of €300 to obtain the Certified Digital Marketing Professional, CDMP. So that is how things are offered to you at SLIM right now when it comes to their partnership with DMI. With that being said, I think we are about in time to begin our live discussion on these opportunities and how best you can use them for your advantage when it comes to your digital marketing career. So just like I mentioned earlier, we have two speakers joining in with us, and let me first introduce to you our first speaker. He is the manager, client success, Facebook at Row Global. He has 11 years of experience in marketing, communications, ICT, and development. And also the key brands that he has involved himself with includes Nestle and Lanka, Coca-Cola Beverages, Hema's Consumer Products, Selinco Life, Microsoft Sri Lanka. And he is also a lecturer in digital marketing rather at Slim. He is also a Facebook Blueprint certified in media planning, buying and creative. He is also the winner of the Cannes Young Lions competition under the digital category in 2017, and he is also a speaker at TEDx Youth Colombo 2013. So I'd like to introduce to you our first speaker, Mr. Udara Dharmasena. Good morning to you.
Hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Great. Super. Okay, then Tilna, shall I go ahead?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Dharmasena, for joining. I'd like to just introduce our second speaker at the same time. To all our viewers, he is actually the highest globally and locally awarded media planner in Sri Lanka, and he's currently the director for Isobar Dentsu, and he was also the head of digital for Team Unilever and Mindshare during the period of 2015 and 2017. He has also won the Campaign Asia Digital Media Agency of the Year on 3 occasions, which recognizes inspired leadership, management excellence, and business performance. So I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Mohenesh Chamith Buthgumwa. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Hi, Tina.
Hi, welcome to this live discussion. So we'll straight away get into the discussion. If all our viewers have still not joined in, I'd like to ask each and every one of you to make sure that you tell your friends that we are going live on Microsoft Teams. The link you can find attached, and make sure that you join in on the discussion as we move on. So we are here all the way until 12:30, and to start things off, I'd like to invite Mr. Udara Dharmasena, and he will be taking us through the demo on the DMI student portal and all its benefits to the students enrolling at SLIM. Mr. Dharmasena, over to you.
Yep. Tilna, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So before we discuss about the DMI student portal and its benefits, I was planning to discuss a bit about how important digital marketing is, and how important to get a digital marketing qualification for yourself and upskill yourself to go into the next level in your career ladder. So before I begin, I think I don't have to introduce myself again because Tilna already did it. I was planning to ask a couple of questions from you to get our audience engaged. Shall we do that, Tilna? Let me share this with you.
Yes.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, let me share the screen. So this would be the first question that I'm going to ask from you all. So pick the answer which describes you best. What would be the answer here? So what you have to do is you just have to go to the menti.com and enter this code. Then you can answer the question. And Tilina, I think in the Q&A or maybe there we can mention it as well. Let me try. I think everybody will be able to.
Yes, the Q&A is
yes.
visible to all our viewers. Mr. Dharmasena, you can take control of it as well.
Yes, I will give the URL and the code as well. $7755878. You can enter this code and then you can give your answers. So if you can quickly go there and give your answers. Okay, I think only one person have given the answer there. We will give a couple of minutes until they give the answers. Let's see whether there are more answers. Yeah. Okay.
So to all our viewers, I think what Mr. Udara Dharmasena wants you to do is visit the link attached in the Q&A tab, that is www.menti.com. And once you go to that website, you will be asked for a special code. And when that code is asked, please type 7755878, 7755878, and you will be asked a question as to which answer describes you best. So if you could quickly answer this, we can get on with today's proceedings, and Mr. Dharmasena will explain to you as to why he has done this.
Okay, interesting. Most of the people are they are owning their own business, and about 25% they are students, undergraduates, and 17% working in the corporate sector. I was hoping something else out of here. I was thinking whether there will be more people from the corporate sector who are already working somewhere, but most of the people, they have their own business. Interesting. Probably they are the people who wakes up early morning and attend these kind of workshops, maybe, right? Interesting. But now it's changing. Let's see. Yeah. So I'll keep it there. We will have a look at it later as well. In terms of there are people who are looking for jobs as well. I think Chamith, you guys have a couple of vacancies. You might be able to get certain people out of as well. You can do an announcement later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, let me take the areas that I'm going to discuss for today. So before I begin, I was thinking about like to share my story as well. This is something that I was not planning to share with you all for this session, but I was thinking, why shouldn't I share this story about myself by looking at the audience that we have? So earlier, actually about 7 years back, 8 years back, I was not in this industry. I was not in this field, digital marketing or even marketing field. I was not here. I was in a completely different area, social development. I was in that sector. I can remember with Mohenesh and all, we did certain activities at that time, Tweet Up SL and all. Twitter was the platform most at that time, which was very popular in 2010, after 2010 to 2014, I would say. And only in 2014, 13, 14, I decided to move to digital marketing. And I think Slim made an impact in that, for me to change my career as well, to move to digital marketing as well. And I think that's the best choice that I made in my life. Like I have certain regrets as well in my life, the choices that I have made, but I would say this is the best choice that I have made in my life in terms of changing my career, right? And then actually, Chamith knows best out of here, the audience, I would say. And I know there are a couple of people in the audience as well, the participants whom we know already, probably our previous workplace and all. And interestingly, like last 6-7 years, I have been doing so many activities in terms of digital marketing and moving beyond that and sharing our knowledge as well to groom the budding the marketeers as well in Sri Lanka in terms of digital marketing. So now actually in Sri Lanka, we are kind of in a situation where like we don't have enough people with knowledge in terms of digital marketing, in terms of experience in digital marketing. I think the people who are in the agencies would agree with me, and people who are in the corporate sector would agree with me. Even people who are doing their own businesses would agree with me. The current situation that we are in, we don't have enough resources in Sri Lanka, right? So let me show you something here. It's something that I got from World Economic Forum. I'm not sure whether you have already seen this. It's a report released by World Economic Forum in terms of what are the job opportunities which will be available in future in another 5 years, 4 years, that period, right? So by 2025, like all the people who are working right now, they will need to reskill themselves, right? Upskill themselves, because most of the jobs that we all are doing, it will be redundant, right? There won't be a validity in terms of doing that. Most of the jobs will, like the activities that we are doing at workplace, will be automated, or it will be redundant as well. That's one key point. And let me show you what are the top 10 skills as well, which will need in 2025. I think personally, like, we don't have to wait until another 5 years. In another 1 or 2 years, like, this is something we didn't expect actually in the beginning of the year. I think the COVID-19 situation, the global pandemic, has fast forwarded us into another like 10, I would say 5 years fast forwarded us in terms of digital marketing growth, I would say, right? And these are the top 10 skills that the World Economic Forum has found out. And out of these top 10 skills, I have listed about 4 skills that I could find here, which will be critical, which will be very important if you are planning to move to digital marketing industry. Especially these are a couple of areas that we are seeing as lacking in the people who are working in the industry right now. In terms of analytical thinking and innovation, that's one key important area, I would say. If you're doing especially campaigns, digital marketing campaigns, you need to have this particular skill. And apart from that, critical thinking and analysis, I would say those two are very similar. And apart from that, this is the most important one, I would say: creativity, originality, and initiative. That's something which can never replace, right? Creativity, originality, and initiative. Because, like, let's say in any industry, it doesn't relate to only to digital marketing or anything. In any industry, creativity drives it, right? So if you can be creative enough, so I would say the creativity would come within yourself, and also you can polish it as well, I would say. And if you have this particular skill, any company, actually even an individual will be able to move forward in their career ladder. Even their business will prosper as well, I would say. And then when we discuss about the last point, reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. So this is another key point, I would say, especially people who are working in the advertising agencies, maybe people who are handling clients, or maybe the people who are, let's say, working as a digital marketing specialists, maybe, right, who have to, like, let's say, to report their superiors or subordinates, right? So they need to have this particular skill as well in terms of reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. So these are the top 10 skills that you need to have in, I wouldn't say another 5 years, as I mentioned. Even right now itself, you have to build it. Even right now, this is much needed in the industry. So let me show you another one important slide. So this is how it's going to be the job landscape by 2025, right? So these are the decreasing job demands, right? 85 million jobs will be redundant, and the growing job demand is 97 million. Out of these 10 job demands, let me show you one, the fourth one. What is it? Digital marketing and strategy specialists, right? So that's one key growing job demand that we will have in the future. But I would say this is there right now itself. Every company, every organization, every industry, right, needs someone like this. They are looking for this particular position, right? They are looking out people. And like, it doesn't matter, like, whether it's for an agency, right? Even in government, I have seen this has become one key crucial factor. So this is the importance of, I would say, like, having a digital marketing qualification for yourself, right? And I would like to ask another question from you as well, because then we can figure out another key point in terms of what you want to achieve as the participants who are here today. Let me put that question as well. So if you can go to the same link, hold on, let me take it here. Yeah, hold on. If you can go to the same link, and if you can use the code, you can give the answers to this question as well. What are you planning to do? You have completed CDM, DDM at Slim and looking out right now for a job opportunity or something, or maybe planning to do CDM or DDM at Slim, or maybe you are planning to start your own business, or you are trying to grow your own business. That's the third point. And or maybe like you are just interested in digital marketing. Can you guys answer this question as well? You can go to the same link.
Yeah. So to all our viewers, once again, what we want you to do is check the Q&A session on the Microsoft Teams link. Make sure to visit www.menti.com, and once you are on the website, type in the code 7755878. You need to type in the code 7755878, and then you will get a questionnaire asking you as to what you are planning to do, and you may answer as you feel fit, and Mr. Dharmasena will take it from there.
Yeah. Have a nice mix, I would say, in the audience. There are more people from like people who are interested in starting their own business or maybe growing their existing business through digital marketing. And there are people who are planning to do CDM or DDM at Slim. Yeah. Do we have more people? Yeah. Okay, interesting. So I will connect this particular poll as well to the next part that I'm going to cover. Especially the people who are planning to do CDM and DDM, and also people who have completed CDM and DDM and looking out, and they might need to get to know about what are the new stuff as well. And apart from that, like people who are planning to start their own business or maybe planning to grow their business as well. In terms of them and also the people who are interested in digital marketing, this is one frequent question that I get. Even like yesterday, someone asked from me, how do you update yourself in terms of digital marketing, right? Like, let's say, how do you keep it up with digital marketing updates and new stuff coming to the industry, right? So there are a few things that you can do. Especially myself, I read a lot. There are certain like aggregators that I follow. There are certain let's say the people that I follow as well to keep myself updated in terms of digital marketing. And digital marketing is something which evolves every day, every hour, I would say. The things that I taught you maybe like yesterday wouldn't be valid today, right? The platforms are evolving. Like, let's say if we take one particular platform as even Facebook, advertising platform, it has evolved, right? It's not the same thing that we used last year. It's not the same thing that we used about like 3 months back. Even like all the other platforms, Google Ads to LinkedIn platforms, it's evolving every day, right? So you need to be like hands-on these platforms, and also you need to read a lot. You need to follow certain people who are like influencers in the industry, key opinion leaders in this industry. Then only you'll be able to update yourself. So I'm going to show you guys another key point. So you guys have given the answers. I think we have a nice split. So the next area that I'm going to cover is in terms of the DMI student portal. I'm going to do an intro in terms of Digital Marketing Institute student portal and how you can use this particular tool, which is given for the members of DMI to upskill themselves once they have completed their certifications, once they have completed the CDM and DDM course, and once you have enrolled for DMI membership. Let me take that here. Okay, I'll start from here, maybe, right? Okay, so this is how it would look like, the DMI portal, student portal, right? So you have few key areas that you can find in terms of like courses that you can do, the library, right? And events and continuous programs that you can study. the community that you can connect with, and also the skills tests that you can do to gauge yourself. And also there is a support service as well. So first I will show you the courses that you can do. So there are short courses that you can follow once you enroll for this. Especially, like, I know there are certain people that who would like to learn certain new things in terms of analytics, in terms of content marketing, in terms of GDPR. Even like last week, one of my client actually asked about the data protection policies or regulations, right? So if they want to learn about it, if they want to update themselves, this would be one good platform, one good resource for you to update yourself. So it has given you the time period as well, and the duration of the course, and it's a short course that you can attend to, and then you can upskill yourself. So for this particular one, this is the certificate one, the membership that we have. That's why we have only 6 short courses. But if you are moving forward, the other ones, you will get more short courses as well. Like, let's say user experience essentials, customer experience essentials, and apart from that, graphic design essentials as well, right? So those kind of short courses are available for you to study. And apart from that, the library. Let me take you to the library as well. So this is another key area that I could find as an interesting area for the digital marketers, I would say, especially the people who are working in agencies, or maybe people who are having a role in terms of digital marketing in your companies, right? So you might be going through like certain areas that whether I can find certain templates, maybe certain, like, let's say, can I have a look at a template, like, let's say, a digital strategy, or maybe like, let's say, email marketing, or maybe like social media marketing. So you can easily download those through this. And apart from that, you have ebooks as well, especially toolkits and presentations that you can download as well. Even like, let's say you have to do a small session for your organization, or maybe for your agency, or maybe the people that you're working with, you can easily download those presentations from here, and then you can do it. Let me show you one quick presentation. Maybe so there is one presentation that you can find, like, let's say, SEO for beginners, right? So if you want to have a look at it, so you can quickly just take a look at the presentations which is available here, right? And apart from that, there are webinars that they are doing, and the recordings of those webinars will be available here, right? In terms of like different subjects, right? And you can drill it down the way that you want, like for different topics that you can find: digital strategy, search marketing, content marketing, on different types. And like, let's say there are certain areas that you are not comfortable with, like something like, let's say, something like social selling. What does that mean for you, right? So you can go through that, and you can find what are the content available on the platform itself, right? So there are video content, as I mentioned, and especially ebooks as well, which you can download, and even you can share among your colleagues at your organizations. And I think this part is one key area that I have found in terms of the student portal at Digital Marketing Institute. And apart from that, the events that they're doing, usually they are doing events like at least one or two webinars per week, and then you can participate to these kind of webinars as well to learn more like new things. I would say, if you want to learn new things which happens in the global arena in terms of digital marketing, you can go to this particular section, and then you can learn those stuff as well through events and webinars. And this particular area, let me take you to that. So continuous professional development. So DMI portal will guide you in terms of how you can like upskill yourself, how you can like update your knowledge as well, right? What are the training programs that you need to follow? What are the mentoring programs? What are the knowledge points that you need to gather? So you can choose a course from here depending on what you want to achieve and where you want to be, right? So it will be an interesting area, I would say, if you want to keep growing yourself in terms of the digital marketing knowledge. And we have another key area, the community, I would say. And let's say you have certain questions, right? There are certain questions that you need to find answers in terms of digital marketing, right? From whom can you ask? Like, of course, you can reach out to us as well, right? Even Chamith, myself, we are the lecturers as well in Slim, so you can reach out to us. But let's say you have certain questions that you want to ask from a global community, right? So you can use this community, DMI community as well, and you can like put like, let's say, a certain question, or maybe you can even share your knowledge, right? And like, let's say, these kind of stuff like Facebook analytics help, hidden hashtag strategy, like seeking new career opportunity, right? Facebook video length, like those kind of questions people have asked, right? So you also can join here the community, and then you can ask from them, and you can see people are answering that, and it's very engaging community, I would say, right? So this is another interesting area that you can use once you have become a member in the Digital Marketing Institute portal. And let me take you to another area, skills tests that you can do, right? So you can test your skills as well, right? Whether you are up to the level, whether you know the stuff in terms of, like, let's say this one, digital marketing, are you up to the level, right? If you want to gauge yourself, this would be one key area, right? This is like a diagnostic that you have for Windows, maybe, right? For computers, right? So how can you diagnose yourself, right? So this would be one key area that you can use in terms of skills testing, right? So you can further get to know about yourself, whether you are up to date, and whether there are certain areas that you need to improve in terms of digital marketing. So those are the key areas. We have the support section as well. If you have any questions to ask from, like, let's say, the portal, DMI, the support team, you can put it here, and also you can find like certain questions that they have answered earlier as well, right? So exam eligibility, can I appeal my exam results? So you can have a look at those articles, and also you can ask your own questions as well, right? So these are the key areas, I would say, that which is available in the DMI portal for the students, and this would be a very interesting area. Once you have enrolled for it, you will get the access to it for free for this particular portal, right? So actually today morning, apart from these areas, I was thinking about to mention another area. We are talking about a global recognition here, right? So do we have anyone here who's planning to migrate, right? Do we have anyone who's planning to migrate, maybe, right? So I was looking at whether the digital marketing and overall the advertising and marketing, whether the countries, the other countries, especially in Sri Lanka, like people are migrating to Canada, maybe Australia, New Zealand, those countries, right? So I was just looking out whether there are opportunities, whether it's a skill that which they give points, right? So I was looking at it, and I could find it actually in their portal, in the Australian site where they provide you information in terms of if you are planning to migrate or anything. And I could find something interesting. The one particular area that they give in terms of the visas for skilled migrants, right? This is for Australia and New Zealand, advertising and marketing professionals, right? So digital marketing would have a clear advantage, I would say, if you are applying for this, and especially you need to have at least like 5 years experience before you apply for this. So I just thought to share this. These are the occupations available as well. These are the codes. If you are really interested in terms of migrating, you can give it a shot as well. And I think these qualifications that Dmi is providing will be a pathway, will be a key for you to open up new opportunities as well. So guys, that's it from my end, and I hope you all enjoyed the session, and I'll be here to take questions as well. Over to you, Tilka.
Thanks, Mr. Dharmasena. Thank you very much for that comprehensive update and insight into how best we can use the student portal and the importance of digital marketing at a time like this. I think what you said really matters, because right now everything's slowly actually turning into more digital, and we're using most of these devices. The exact same reason why you and I and Mr. Buthgumwa is all online on Microsoft Teams. During a time like this, it's a very timely topic that most businesses, people, and it's time that we also get used to this new normal, because no one is going to wait for anything to change. We may not know when we might find an exact cure. So given these times, I think it's very important that we actually make that shift into digital and make sure that we capitalize on all digital marketing offenses, and also make sure that we grab those opportunities in making sure that we reach the customer as much as we can, given the platforms that we are working with right now, especially digitally. Thank you very much, Mr. Dharmasena, for that update and insight. I think all our viewers will have a chance to ask you questions at the end of Mr. Buthgumwa's sessions. And so if you do have any questions, please make sure to hold on to them for the Q&A session that we'll be having as soon as Mr. Buthgumwa is done. And we can straight away move into our second speaker for today. To all our viewers, once again, I'd like to mention, if you still have anyone who's willing to join the session, make sure that you visit the link and join the Microsoft Teams call whenever you are able to. All right, Mr. Mohenesh, Chamith, Buthgumwa, we have the time for you, and he will be explaining the digital landscape of Sri Lanka and how it's changing constantly, just like Mr. Dharmasena mentioned. It's very volatile. What you learned yesterday is not what you will have today or tomorrow. And he will also talk about the industry need and how it has been forming for years and evolution, and why you should be a qualified digital marketer in the next 12 months. I think that's very important when it comes to today's day and age, and also why digital marketing is important for small businesses. This is especially very valid for all those who ticked, I'm starting my own business, when it came to Mr. Dharmasena's small questionnaire. So if you are still tuned in, then this is the session for you. Do listen to him, and let's take it from there. Mr. Buthgumwa, over to you.
Hi, yeah, let's start. Let me first share my screen. You can see my screen?
Yes. Yes. Mr.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to keep it a bit relevant because of, everybody's talking about the pannier these days, the one portion that, is going to give you the solution. So I'm going to talk you through the digital pannier, actually, because of why it is important. And since you have a little bit of an advantage at the moment and what you can do about it. So let me explain. I know you gave a short description about me, but I'll just talk about the advertising market a bit. I think that will be much more interesting. So the world's advertising is actually controlled by three advertising groups. One is called WPP. I think Udara was previously in that group called WPP. WPP has about a 40% market share in the world. And the second thing is called Publicis, and the other one is called dentsu. So I come from the part of dentsu. I was previously in WPP. So if you look at talk about WPP, they have about a 40% market share. In Sri Lanka also they have about the same number. To give quantify it, let's say if you see 10 ads on TV, about flow ads are placed by Unilever. Same goes on YouTube as well. So They have an added advantage going in because they started some time back and they handle some of the biggest clients in Sri Lanka as well. And the rest is divided among probabilities and dentsu. So like I said, I have about 18 years of experience. The next slide will talk about it. I think Udara also talked about his beginnings in this field. I also was thinking of doing the same because I think the best thing to do is to talk with experience. And the next thing is I like to link digital and behavioral economics together when I talk. And I'll explain it to you what's it all about. But this is a kind of a mixture of both digital and behavioral economics. This is actually my first slide. This is the slide that I choose to talk about my career. I know you may be wondering what's this all about, but this actually shows that long time back I had to actually sell one of my kidneys, literally sell, not literally, but sell one of my kidneys to get a digital qualification. But now it's not the case. It's very affordable. I'll tell you how. So at about 2003, I joined Mobitel for 6,500 rupees. I didn't even know my salary until I joined because I just wanted to get into it. But the good thing is I joined to sales. I think most of you know that when you go to sales, you can make some money. So I was then 23 years old. And for a month, I was making average about 150,000 to 200,000 worth of money just because I was in sales. So my salary was about 6,500 rupees, but in sales commissions, I was making about 200,000. I was there for a long time. After about 7-8 years, Sunday we got a new CEO. The new CEO said that if there are any CSR ideas that you have, put it out. So what did I do? I gave a CSR idea on through digital. Actually, then Facebook was the dominant player at that time. We had passed, Friendster, we had passed Hi-Fi. Facebook was the dominant force. So I gave an idea through that. And what did he say? He said, while you're doing corporate sales, why don't you do digital as well? It was not going to be easy. So I had to make a choice. So what did I do? I think most of you would be surprised. What did I do? I took a 75% pay cut on what I was getting, a 75% pay cut, and I went into the marketing division. As you know, in the marketing division, there is no sales incentives or anything. I took a 75% pay cut just to be where I am today. So during that time, it was pretty hard. As you know, after some time, when you are accustomed to a certain lifestyle of getting 200,000 rupees and taking a pay cut and going back, it really affects you. So at that time, I asked my mom for some money. And what did I do? I was doing digital, and at that time, if you know, everything in the market was about likes, who has the most number of likes in a page. So Mobitel was actually the dominant force at that time. They were number one in almost every platform except Twitter. So we were number one, and I thought to go to the next step, I needed a digital qualification, but there wasn't anything at that time in Sri Lanka. This was a long time back. And if you are going to get a digital qualification, you needed to get it from overseas, and it was really expensive. That's why I had put this selling off a kidney. I literally sold off a kidney at that time to get this qualification. But I want to tell you, it's not the case now. It's really affordable, and international qualification is it's already there here in Sri Lanka, and you could be one of the first people to get into it as well. So I just talk about how the internet and everything has evolved over time. So Udara spoke about it a bit. So the internet is actually about 30 years old to date. When it comes to technology, Sri Lanka is one of the best. The marketing side of things could be a little bit behind, but technologically wise, we are way ahead. So the world had internet 30 years ago, but Sri Lanka got internet actually 28 years ago. That's actually really good. If you consider where other countries like India took more time. We had 3G first, we had 3.5G first, 4G, 4.5G, 5G. Everything comes to us first. For technologically wise, we actually have no excuses because of we have been getting this. Actually, in South Asia, we have been one of the first countries to get this as well. So globally 30 years old, the internet is locally 28 years old. So this is a little insight. We recently we work on a biscuit client in Sri Lanka, and we were doing a little bit of research, and we went to this bus halls where long distance buses travel. We went to one of those locations, and we were asking for the little kade next to the bus. You see a lot of people before they get into a long distance travel, they go to one of these kades and buy stuff. So we went to them and we asked, what's the type of biscuit people consume or purchase from them before they go on a long distance travel. Actually, the answer was totally different. He said, actually no, it's not, people are not consuming biscuits, they are actually consuming data. So it's a choice between, do I purchase a packet of biscuits, or do I actually consume some data. So data has actually hit the biscuit market in a way as well. This is how industries are getting disrupted around the world. So this is how it is happening in Sri Lanka as well. This is a chart to show how each platform took to get into 50 million users. If you see telephones, automobiles, everything is above 50 years old. Automobiles have taken 62 years, cell phones have taken 75 years. But if you look here, mobile phones have only taken about 12 years. They say there are more mobile phones in the world than there are than people. There are more than toilets, more than toothbrushes. There are more mobile phones. So internet has taken 7 years, Facebook has taken 4 years, WeChat 1 year, Pokemon Go just 19 days. So if you look to the latter of it, all of these platforms have been driven through mobile, because there are more mobile phones than the population in the world. All mobile related stuff, internet, Facebook, WeChat, Pokemon Go, those are having an exponential growth, where technologies like telephone, automobiles took years to get into 50 million users. So this is local data. They said that the average Sri Lankan sees about 1,900 messages per day. 1,900 messages. That is like the text messages that you see, the advertisements that you see, the outdoor hoardings that you see, the paper advertisements. That is 1,900 messages per day, and 250 of them are actually ads. That's a big one. So technically, we see about 250 ads for a day. And how much do we really remember? Now, this is a really hard task to get into, people's mind. Where 250 them are actually fighting for your attention. So this is the medium penetration in Sri Lanka. This is updated after 2018. It was not done after that. If you see, you hear this a lot. The red line that I'm showing you over here. The red line is television. So many people say television is dying, television, who's watching television? Actually, television at the moment, as at now 2020, it's at an all-time high. People are actually watching television. It's that they choose the time to watch it. Television is not dying at the moment. But if you look at radio and print in Sri Lanka is actually dying down. By 2020, this is even worse, because the pandemic hit for print, and it hit them really well, really bad as well, because there was no print publications going out. And the last line below is actually digital, and digital is having exponential growth. But even though we are having exponential growth, the growth has been not that big. If you look at media spends of companies, it's average about 6% of media spend that is going into digital currently, which shouldn't be the case. I think from what Udara spoke previously as well, we are actually misinformed. There are, the spends maybe should go. If you look, the spends which are coming into digital are actually coming from radio and print. Where television, the spends in Sri Lanka are actually increasing as well. There is another slide for it. All the budgets that had gone for radio and print only are coming into digital. This is, I was talking about, how the internet has gone into the masses. You know, even if it's about corona, even if it's about something else, it's first breaking out on digital. You know, people are first discussing it on that, and then it's going into traditional media because it's really easy to communicate on this. So that's why it's having an exponential growth. This is the global landscape. So the global landscape, this is Financial Times. This is the prediction up to 2024 as well. If you see globally as well, TV is not dying down. That myth of saying TV is dying down is, you can consider a myth. If you look audio, newspapers, magazines, and outdoor, those are the things that are dying down, and that money is only going into digital. So this is the global picture of it. This is the local media spend picture of it. Don't look at the column in the left, because that will give you a lot of misinformation, because this has a lot of free spots, free stuff that were built. So don't look at the left side of it, but look at the media spends in Sri Lanka. So digital is not monitored in Sri Lanka. That's why there is no digital spend graph here. They say people speculate it's about 6 billion rupees which is spent on digital in Sri Lanka. But if you look, TV spends increased by every year, and by 2019 it has increased as well. TV and print are on a natural decline, like I said. So those money are only being allocated to digital. This is when the Facebook ban happened. You know, if you can remember during the East attacks, this is when the Facebook ban happened in Sri Lanka. If you see that dotted black line here, the social media blockade happened. You know, a social media block was put to avoid people going to social media. But what happened was, after the block happened, there was even more engagement happening than a normal day. Because generally Lankawe kiyanne epa කියන දේ කරන්නේ. That's is there. So that's what happened. There were more people on social media on a given day than there was prior. So this has become a main medium to discuss. This was predominantly driven by Facebook because that is the platform. If you ask and go to the masses and ask, are the internet giyada? The general thing for them, Facebook is only internet for them. So that's where everything happens. And if you look at the internet split of Sri Lanka, it's actually pretty much similar to Facebook. Udara spoke about COVID as well, and the transformation it happened. You know, this talks about, you know, nobody thought this disruption will happen. They say 5 years worth of disruption actually happened in 5 months. You know, we as agencies also witnessed this, because I think during this time, from agency perspective, only digital agencies actually survived during this pandemic. Most of the creative agencies, most of the media agencies were hit really bad. All those budgets that were going into creative agencies and media agencies actually came into digital agencies. If you ask more of your colleagues, you know, how was the year, you know, did you hit your targets? You could get to know that actually only digital agencies actually hit their targets this year. That's because of most of that budgets came into digital. If you can remember, during the pandemic, you know, during March, you know, Sri Lanka's average sleep time also changed. People were not even sure of the time they were sleeping. Everybody was at home suddenly. This has never happened for our generation. So Sri Lanka's average sleep time is about 10:30, and it actually went up to 11:45 because they tracked this through telco data. Because as you know, the first thing that you wake up and you look at is your mobile, and the last thing that you look is your mobile as well. From that, they can get an indication that the average sleep time in Sri Lanka had also changed. So this is a meme that I saw. ඇහැරෙන්නේ 11ට, උදේට කන්නේ 12ට, දවල්ට කන්නේ 4ට, රැයට කන්නේ 10ට, නිදාගන්නේ පාන්දර 4ට. මීට වඩා වෙනස් ජීවිත තියෙනවා නම් අටපට්ටමට කියනවා. So it's technically that, you know, everybody lost track of time. Everybody was sleeping, you know, way ahead and sleeping till the morning. So it was a total different behavioral change. This shows how internet traffic changed. You know, generally we know that Sri Lanka's about 78% of all internet traffic in Sri Lanka is coming through mobile. But during the pandemic, there a shift happened. Apps were used lesser, where desktop was used more. You know, websites like Facebook, Netflix, YouTube, everything was more consumed through a desktop rather than an app. The people were at home, they were using Zoom, they were using Teams, and those were used through desktop and laptops. So during that time, we saw a shift in that as well. This is how TV changed during that time. During that time, more male people, generally you see there is a more male workforce in Sri Lanka. So those people were actually at home. During that time, there were more male viewers coming into TV. The average spending time of minutes per day is about 130 minutes of time is spent on TV. It actually jumped up to 200. Sector A spending 90% more time on front of the TV. Males have doubled their involvement during that time. Children's viewership has also increased because children were actually not going to classes, they were actually home. So viewership of children has also changed during that. So there was a total disruption that happened during COVID. This is the famous, pork curry with pol roti tweet that, created ripples in Sri Lanka. If you go to the Piliandala bypass road, you can see this happening even now. So this is a tuition teacher named Indraratna Tenuwara. So when the pandemic hit, he couldn't conduct classes. He had to stop it. So what did he do? He bought this concept, and whole of Sri Lanka actually grabbed this opportunity. Generally in Sri Lanka, what happens is one person starts, everyone tries to, go about it. So this is the famous tweet that actually pushed the pork curry with pol roti thing around Sri Lanka. So this also happened during the COVID pandemic. Another thing I just want to talk is there is the side of digital. You can say you have practical experience. Many people have practical experience, but digital is actually, there is a big science behind it. I was talking about behavioral economics. How you can nudge people to do certain things with reading their mind. Certain cues that you can get. So digital and all media has now become a game of getting attention. Who can get your attention? So generally what happens is, as you see this happening in Sri Lanka, the peak time of TV is the same peak time for mobile as well. So what happens is, as soon as a commercial goes, you reach out to your mobile. The commercial is playing on TV, but you're actually on your mobile. So this is about who can grab your attention. So in 2000, the year 2000, the average person in the world had about 12 seconds worth of attention. Okay, if within 12 seconds, if you can't grab your attention, you'll go to something else. In 2013, it dropped to 8 seconds. They say even a goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds. And the Sri Lankan number is about 8.25 seconds. So within 8.25 seconds, if you can't grab a person's attention, that person will go into something else. So this is where the science part of it comes. This is where you need to actually study digital. You will not know from practical experience. This is the Ubiquity report. Many platforms put up their reports, but Ubiquity is the global gold standard when it comes to attention spans. So here it talks about, even if a general TV commercial is about 30 seconds, which plays on TV. But it shows that in Sri Lanka, this is local data, in Sri Lanka, people actually watch a TV commercial for about 13 seconds. If you see in many Sri Lankan TV commercials, the brand or what the product is only mentioned maybe in the last 5 seconds. It's not showed initially. So from a 30-second commercial, you are only seeing about 13 seconds. What's happened to the rest? So is it really effective? So M goes to desktop pre-rolls, mobile pre-rolls. This is all the platforms. So even though that's why they say, maybe putting up a 30-second commercial on Facebook will not work, because this attention span problem. That's why YouTube has a skip button after 5 seconds. This is where a professional qualification, will actually help you. I also, in my story, I also was practically doing digital. I could handle a page, but it's something really beyond that, where there's a science behind it, where a professional qualification can actually help you. This is another insight I wanted to talk about. This is a total different thing to talk for maybe another hour, but I just wanted to tell you that, did you know, or can you guess, what's the #1 reason people actually skip a YouTube video in Sri Lanka? I'm asking for Sri Lanka. Any guesses? I think it's really a hard guess. almost 98% of all videos are skipped in Sri Lanka. The number one reason for a video to be skipped, this is where, like I said, the science comes into play. You know, why you need a qualified reputed person to give you a qualification is the number one reason why a YouTube video is skipped in Sri Lanka. This is according to Google data, is ads that start happy put viewers off. In Sri Lanka, if you see a happy family or a happy video or some friends smiling, that's the number one reason that you skip. You know, you will never think about it, but that's the science behind it. So that's why I say that not just knowing the practical side of it is not a part. You need to know the science behind it as well. So ads that start happy put viewers off. That's the number one reason why Sri Lankans skip a YouTube video. So why get certified? You know, I was giving little information and nuggets about it. Why get certified? So these are the first, the talent gap and skilled digital marketing professions. So I recently, yesterday night, we recently won a new account and we needed to hire a few people. I put out a message on Facebook and LinkedIn saying, you know, send me CV. There is a big talent gap. It's really hard to find professional digital marketers who are actually qualified. You knowing to, you know, handle a Facebook page, handle Twitter is not what we are talking about. We are talking about real media planning, real media buying. Because of when we work for professional outlets, we need to be professionally qualified. This is where there is a big talent gap, where skilled people are actually sought out by agencies and brands as well. Next thing is digital marketing spends are growing. You know, as at now, like I said, it's about 6%, but it's growing exponentially. Within the next 5 years, if you are a reputed qualified digital marketer, you actually have a long career path, because of currently in the markets like Singapore and globally, digital marketing spends are actually at about 60%. We are in Sri Lanka, we are at about 24%. So we have a long way to go. So you have a long career path as well. So if you're qualified within the next 1 to 2 years, there is a long way that you can go as well. Next thing is digital marketers actually enjoy greater flexibility. Like I said, when the pandemic hit, every one of our colleagues were actually working from home. We just needed a laptop and a internet connection to get about our work. We have greater flexibility. You can work from any time in the world, anywhere in the world at any time. So generally, digital jobs are very flexible. So you could work out it to according to your time plan as well. Next thing is rate of change in digital marketing is really rapid. You know, there is always something new coming up. So if you're always updating yourself, you can always be relevant. If you can, if I talk about myself, initially when I was doing lecturing, I was purely focused on mobile marketing. I was only talking about mobile marketing. I was not doing any lectures beyond that. Because during that time, mobile marketing was not that much heard of. You know, people were actually doing ads for desktop, not talking about mobile. So mobile marketing was a separate section in many curriculums. But now everything needs to be made for mobile. You know, it should be made for mobile. So I have moved out from speaking of mobile marketing. I'm mainly focusing on content marketing. So that's where, you know, there is always a new technology coming up. There's always something happening at a rapid pace. So there is a secured, you know, if you have updated yourself, you can always be secured for the longer term as well. Next thing is the growth of internet-based businesses. If you look at the top 10 businesses in the world, everything is internet-based or tech-based. So again, there is ample opportunities for you if you are professionally qualified to go ahead, because of the growth of the internet-based businesses are growing exponentially. And if you look during the pandemic time in Sri Lanka as well, businesses based on digital did really well. And so this is another opportunity. And last but not least, the most important thing, I know everybody wants to get qualified, and at the end of the day, there is that thing, you know, show me the money part of it. You know, generally, if you look in Sri Lanka and if you look globally, it's even more. If you look in Sri Lanka, generally the same executive doing traditional media and maybe the executive doing digital, the digital executive might get paid 40 to 50% more. than a normal traditional media executive. This is because of the few factors that I talked initially as well. There is a big skill gap. There is less people who are doing it, less professionals handling it. So generally 40 to 50% more salary you can demand for the same position, like a ATL media planner executive versus a digital media planner executive would actually get about 40 to 50% more on their salary as well. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Buthgumwa. I think I myself learned quite a bit with all the presentations and all the data that you had to present over the last few minutes. Especially what really caught my attention was how when there was a ban in Sri Lanka on using Facebook, how actually people were, convinced to or encouraged to use more Facebook. And I think these trends are what really keeps people going with the times. And since most of us are at home during this pandemic, and since it's likely that we'll need to get used to whatever that is happening and this new normal that we must adjust, I think we'll be expecting a lot of new changes in trends and different patterns of thinking in human beings, and getting used to a lot of new things rather than living how we used to live a few months back. And suddenly people are getting used to this new normal, and I think that's what we need to encourage, because these trends keep changing and we need to adjust ourselves, because nobody is going to actually wait to change and come out of this, but rather than that, we need to get used to whatever that is happening right now. Thank you very much, Mr. Buthgumwa. I think with that, we roughly have around 20 to 15 minutes to actually go through our Q&A session. In fact, we have a couple of questions that have already come in from our viewers. Thank you once again for joining in with us. I'd like to have both our speakers, Mr. Dharmasena and Mr. Buthgumwa, online right now. And we have received around 4 questions. And I'd like to mention to all our viewers that if you could kindly please mention the person who you're asking the question, that would make things a lot easier for us as well. Now then, the first question we have received is to Mr. Dharmasena himself. One of our viewers have asked you why digital marketing programs are important in the future. I think Mr. Buthgumwa also covered this part, but Mr. Dharmasena, could you please elaborate as to why digital marketing can be and will be important over the coming years, over the future?
Yeah, let me first, before I answer that particular question, first let me discuss a bit about the beginning of my career itself. Even Chamith can agree to this. At that time, we didn't have enough resources. We didn't have any places to go and learn. Even in Sri Lanka, we couldn't find even anyone whom we can ask from, right? We didn't have any courses that you could do, that even programs or anything, right? We didn't have any resources at that time. So we took, I believe, we took a long time to learn stuff. But the generation that we have today, they don't have to spend the same time that we did, right? Within, like, let's say a couple of months, they can upskill themselves, right? And there are enough opportunities, there are enough resources, enough programs, qualifications that they can enroll to and then upskill themselves, right? So I think in my presentation, I mentioned as well why it's important to do these programs as well, because like at this point, even I kind of felt like like the people who are in the industry today, even the people who are joining the industry today, they can even compete directly with us, even though we have like years of experience. They can do that easily. The reason is it doesn't take much time, right? People can easily learn, and then they can do hands-on activities and like, let's say, get the experience as well, and they can easily like compete with even with the people who have been there in like for maybe 10 years, right? So it's not an industry like, let's say, maybe like, let's say, medical professions or any other like industry. This is a very dynamic one where you can learn fast and become the best, right? So I think I answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Dharmasena. We'll continue with a few more questions. We have around 15 to 10 more minutes roughly. Also, the next question is also about for you, Mr. Dharmasena, because you were actually handling the side of the DMI student portal and the qualifications. Let me ask you, Kavitya, who has joined this conversation, has asked, um, how do you differentiate this qualification from Google Digital Garage and other qualifications? How do you differentiate this qualification from
Yeah.
Google Digital Garage and other qualifications?
Yeah. So to answer that particular question, like let's say something like Google Digital Garage, it's a great platform. I would say a great platform if you want to learn the basics of it, right? So you won't be able to go beyond that from that particular platform, right? And if you are really new to digital marketing, and if you want to like just to get an idea about it, please go and do the Google Digital Garage, the courses that you can follow, the exams that you can do, right? So, but you can't claim yourself as a digital marketer just by following a course on like let's say Google Digital Garage, right? So even in Google Digital Garage there are only few courses that you can do, and there are very basic courses, right? You can't go beyond that, right? And I can tell you a couple of other platforms as well. If you want to do like certain basic courses and get to know about digital marketing, apart from Google Digital Garage, you can go to Google Ads certification platforms as well. There you can do a couple of more exams, and those are more valid than the Digital Garage, because Digital Garage exams, those courses are very primitive and basic courses, I would say. And if you can do Google Ads certification, that's a more valid qualification, I would say. And apart from that, you can do Facebook Blueprint learning paths as well. Learning paths are free for you to do. It doesn't give you a certification per se, but there are other Blueprint certifications that you can do, but you have to pay for those exams. And those are quite valid as well, even more than like Google Ads certification, because those are free and very basic exam. Those kind of exams are there. But Blueprint examinations are conducted by Pearson itself, and it's a qualification that you can get apart from the qualifications that I mentioned earlier. So I think I answered the question there.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Dharmasena. We have another question, but I'd like to direct this to Mr. Buthgumwa. One of our viewers have in fact asked, Shania has asked, what is the most common and easiest way to make money through digital marketing? You actually touched base on this during your presentation. I'd like to rephrase that question. What is the most common and easiest way to make money through digital marketing?
I would say I'm not an expert on online selling. I need to say that first. I'm not an expert on that. But I would say the most common and easiest way to make money through digital marketing is to actually teach how it's been done, not to do it. Because there are so many people, scamming, people saying that, make money through this, click ads and make money, do this and get money. But I think if you conduct those courses, you can make more money, but you can stay in the market for more than a long time because of, it's not working. So I think the best thing that you can do in digital is actually get qualified. Like I said, both Udara and me spoke about, I could maybe say, no, it's a humble beginnings. We can talk about the humble beginnings that we started. We had actually nothing to talk about, but yeah, Udara is, I think best example is Udara. He's one of the talked about people. He's representing Facebook currently in the market as well. So I think the best way to get some exponential growth is get certified, because like I said, there's a big knowledge gap. People are willing to pay 40 to 50 times more than a normal person in your age to, to get more salary. And that is, I think, a more secured path where, it's not disrupted that much. And like I said, currently ad spending is about 6%. Just think when it goes to about 60%, how much of a big figure and a person that you can be during that time. I think I'm not an expert, like I said, on the selling part, but from what I know, that the best thing, if you want to make online money, the best thing you do is to teach how to make online money, because there you can actually make a lot of money through that.
Yeah. If I can add to that question, to what Chamith mentioned, there are no easy paths here. If you are following certain easy paths, it won't sustain, right? So you have seen enough incidents in Sri Lanka who have tried to earn fast and easily, and they went bankrupt, or they are not there anymore, right? So there won't be any easy paths, I would say. But if you can learn fast and if you can quickly adapt, you can do it still. There are businesses that we have seen, even the students who were there in our classes, who have started the business while they were doing the courses, right? So I can remember one student in one of the batches that I have been lecturing. Actually, he came down from Australia and then to Sri Lanka, and he got stuck here in Sri Lanka because of the pandemic situation. And he's a software engineer there in Australia, but in Sri Lanka, he got stuck and he couldn't go back, right? So he followed the digital marketing course, and then like, let's say, he tried to practice what he learned. He started his own business, and within like a period of like 3 months, he started his own business and he could earn a certain amount of money, right? And he's continuing it. Like, that's how people do it, right? So there are no easy ways, but you have to put a lot of effort. But it's not the same effort that we had to go through earlier, as Chamith mentioned. But nowadays it's quite easy, I would say. And even to add to that point, in terms of the salary scales that you have in this industry, it's huge, I would say. පොඩි කාලේ අපි කියන්නේ doctor කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕනේ, lawyer කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕනේ, එහෙම කියන්නේ. If I'm saying the same thing today, I wouldn't say that, right? Because like Chamith and maybe myself, maybe we are earning more than them. Maybe a medical doctor, or maybe someone in the same industry, right? So it's a, I would say, a lucrative industry, and it's growing. That's the main point, right? It's growing, and it's not going to go down. It's only there will be only growth in future.
Thanks, Mr. Dharmasena and Mr. Buthgumwa. So I think what we need to understand is that over time, how, although the technology and the science behind it and convenience has evolved, still there is no easy way to it, rather than actually, you know, working for it and persevering through it. So I think that answers our viewers' question. We are just in time for 2 more questions. I'd like to open it up to both our speakers. Please feel free to add on when you feel like it. We have our first question. Over time, let's assume when the world's economy status comes back to normal, do you think, or do you assume, that digital will be significantly used to compare the current situation? And do you think whether people will not get back to using traditional methods? Over to you, our speakers.
Chamith, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think I saw a lot of research, you know, during the pandemic. You know, there were a lot of people saying, you know, the world has changed forever. You know, people's behaviors have changed forever. You know, people will now only order stuff through WhatsApp and apps. It will not go back. But generally, people's behaviors take a long time to change. You know, even Alibaba started 12 years ago. Took 12 years for that type of company to make a change. You know, it takes some time. Behaviors take some time. You know, during when the pandemic was hit, everybody was asked to wash their hands for 20 seconds. You know, suddenly when everything went down, did any of you wash your hands for 20 seconds? Nobody did, right? Everybody was back to normal. It's just that during the pandemic, people got to know there is this services, we can use these services if needed. It doesn't mean that it's like, you know, you learning to ride a bike. During the pandemic, people got to know to ride a bike, but doesn't mean that they use a bike every day and for everything. No, there is the option. People got to know about it. There were some people who was changed. I think the best example is go and see at website traffic for all this online stores. This is the best thing that I use in my seminar. Go and look at the online stores. What happened when the pandemic happened? You can go to, you know, SimilarWeb or something and see how the, you know, the web traffic has gone up and down. when the pandemic happened, most of you must have woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning to put in a order. You know, if you didn't wake up at 6 o'clock, you couldn't get any food to yourselves. But what happened was, during that time, there was a peak. As soon as the normal shops opened, that just died down. So what happens is people actually got to know to ride a bike or learned how to ride a bike. But after that, what happened was people went by. So it's a long-term thing. You know, most of the brands didn't actually create a behavioral change, I would say. They just took advantage of the situation. They didn't create a behavioral change. After it happened, now I see many brands, you know, doing their total commerce solutions and coming up with solutions, but we were actually not ready for it. So I don't think a total shift happened. Traditional media is not dead. Like I said, TV is at all-time high. Maybe radio and print has all died down, and those budgets have come into digital. Udar, over to you.
Yeah, that's correct. As I would agree with all the points Chamith mentioned. So the peak that we had, it won't sustain in terms of the like, let's say, the behaviors. It might go back to normal, but there will be a growth still, but it won't be at the peak level where we were during the lockdown period, I would say. But it's good to see that people adapted to these technologies, right? As I have seen in US, some certain numbers, the growth which happened during last couple of months, I would say last couple of 6 months, as I can remember, actually this is the growth that we were projecting in the early of this year, which will happen in another 10 years, right? So it was fast forward, and like people experienced it. Certain people who have never used it, even I would say, even my mom, right? My mom has never used internet, and during this period, she asked whether I can go to YouTube, and whether I can create a Facebook account for her, right? So actually, that would be one example, right? So it doesn't have to buy or like do an e-commerce activity there, but like adapting to these platforms, right? Sometimes like she doesn't watch television, right? She would go to YouTube and watch a program there, right? She will catch up with certain programs, right? It happened this year because of the pandemic, I would say, right? So it will remain to a certain point. Yeah.
Thank you very much to both of you. I think that's a very valid point, Mr. Dharmasena and Mr. Buthgumwa. I think over time, that generation where technology was not as evolved as it is right now, they're getting used to what we are doing right now. And I think COVID-19, the pandemic, the curfew, the lockdown, and all of that has turned into quite the opportunity and chance for them to actually engage into what we are doing. And just like you said, just like your mother actually got involved in YouTube, there are tons of other parents who are actually on TikTok, on Instagram, and the traction of that generation towards these platforms, towards these social media platforms, has increased over the last few months, especially globally and locally as well. So I think that's something important to note down. And with 3 minutes to go, I think we're in time for one more question, and I'd like to direct this to Mr. Dharmasena. The last question in this session would be, do you suggest that it's important to have Photoshop/Illustrator skills whilst doing digital marketing?
Yeah, thanks for asking this question. We can't see your name, but it's an interesting question. This is something that I was thinking about like for last 2 or 3 weeks, I would say, right? Earlier, if you guys can remember, graphic designing was the hot topic, I would say, in Sri Lanka, right? There were like so many institutes, everybody was doing it, right? And they were saying like, you can earn a lot by doing this, right? But if you consider about it now it has become something like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, something like that. It's a basic skill, right? So I would say anyone who it doesn't matter the industry, right? You need to have these skills. I would say the basic skills of like handling Photoshop, right? Doing a basic stuff using Photoshop, right? Illustrator, you don't have to have it, I would say, but Photoshop has become a basic skill for everyone, I would say, right? Especially like people who are working like remotely right now during the pandemic, right? I have seen certain people who had to learn that because they had to create certain content, maybe to share with their, even like teachers. I have seen teachers school teachers, they learn about Photoshop because they had to create certain materials for their students, right? As I mentioned earlier, so it has become a basic skill. It won't be a specialized skill anymore to have the knowledge in terms of Photoshop. It has become a basic skill that anybody would need to have.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Dharmasena. And with that, I think we're in time for the end of this live discussion brought to you by Slim. It's been quite the insightful and interesting one this morning. I think it's a good start for all our marketers and budding young talent who are willing to join Slim and to sign up for any and all programs offered by Slim on a Saturday morning. Thank you very much, especially to Slim for organizing such a live discussion on such a platform and making sure that our marketers are fully aware of what they have to offer and what they can actually enroll with. And a big thank you on behalf of Slim for to Mr. Udara Dharmasena and Mr. Mohenesh, Mr. Chamith Buthgumwa, to actually taking their time off and to coming online and taking the time off to actually, you know, give some insight to all our viewers as to what can be done and to explaining a few things here and there so that our viewers are fully aware of what they can do with Slim and what they can do and how the nitty-gritties of marketing and simple things like memes and, you know, simple wordings, how it actually can make a big impact when it comes to digital marketing and marketing. And I think to all our viewers, I hope that we'll have been able to get through to you as to what DMI can offer you and how you can exactly sign up with Slim to actually work on your chances and opportunities when it comes to the Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland. On an ending note, I'd like to once again remind you that if you are willing to obtain the 2 DMI qualifications, you can sign up with Slim. And let me just take you through them. Number one is the DMI Essentials Qualification, which is the Certified Digital Marketing Associate, CDMA. And for this, if you have completed the certificate in digital marketing offered by Slim, you will be awarded the DMI Essentials certificate, and all you have to do is just make a payment of €200 and make sure that you have completed the certificate in digital marketing. And when it comes to the diploma, the DMI Pro, if you have completed the diploma in digital marketing at Slim, make sure that you can just be sure to apply for the DMI Pro examination by making a payment of €300 and obtain your certificate of digital marketing professional and make sure that you are in line with what you want to do. So those are the 2 qualifications that Slim will be offering through their partnership with DMI. If you do want more information, please do visit the website www.slim.lk/DMI. I'd like to repeat that once again, www.slim.lk/DMI. And if you want more information, if you want to talk to someone, make sure to get in touch with Ureshi on 071-841-7717. 071-841-7717. You can in fact type Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland on Google and get more information on their website as well. So with that being said, I believe we are right on time to end this live discussion. A big thank you to both our speakers once again for sparing their time. A big thank you to Slim for giving me this opportunity. The entire team at Slim has been wonderful. Thank you very much for giving me this chance to host this live session. And with the hope of meeting you once again, also maybe in person or maybe on Microsoft Teams. That's it from us. My name is Mr.Udara. Thank you once again, and it's been a pleasure. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of the day.
See you then.
Thank you.